Oh, it's just the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, you mean the team that gave the Kansas City Chiefs Patrick Mahomes trouble a couple of weeks ago? They blew him out twice. A lot of NFL scouts, a lot of former players, now broadcasters, a lot of anonymous New England coaches. You heard a lot of stuff when Brady left New England. He's washed. He's done. In the last month of the year, he led the NFL, the entire league, including Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, in passing yards, passing touchdowns, 4-0, and second in passer rating. He finished with 40 touchdowns, 12 picks, 65% completion percentage, and a passer rating above his career average. Arm, still solid to above average. Athletic ability, never had much. Leadership, A+, pre-snap, outstanding. Tell me dramatically where Tom Brady is not as good as 5 years ago. Now, he's older. Like LeBron James, when you're older, he can't play 39 minutes every night. Tom needs a little more help, needs a little better protection, doesn't want to get hit. But he has predictably aged well. One of the reasons I thought Brady would win the divorce and do well, I predicted New England would stink this year and Brady would be a playoff guy. I thought they'd win 9 or 10. They won 11. His numbers are better than I thought, but I thought they would be very good, is because he's got the right traits. You ever meet anybody? I'll make a prediction. If you know somebody that's 40 and they eat pretty well, don't do a ton of red meat, not a ton, they exercise regularly, they have compatible personalities. They're not combative. They're compatible. They get along with people. They laugh easily. They like to laugh. They're curious. They have a nice social circle, and they have for years. They have pets. They'll age well. Those are good aging traits. Brady's got great aging traits. So does LeBron, by the way. They eat right. They work out. They're curious. They're coachable. They spend a lot of money on their body. It's not a coincidence that smokers and people who, knock down about 6-7 beers a night, argue on Twitter all day, really political, small social circle, look like crap at 60. Like Big Ben does not have aging well traits. He doesn't. Work ethic, debatable, diet, regrettable, drama all the time. Like Brady has the kind of traits. This is why Russell Wilson will probably age very well. It's why Brady does. It's why LeBron does. Smart people who are willing to put in the time, who are compatible with other systems and coaches and people and teammates. This is what you look like if you have some talent. Big Ben's closer to what you look like if you're not quite an A at those. You're a B to a B- at those. So Brady's not washed. He's also not somebody who has relied heavily on his ability to evade the pass rush. All of his football traits, leadership, pre-snap, smart, efficient, accuracy, those all age really, really well. It's like the baseball player. The stolen base leader doesn't age as well. As the third baseman who's got a good arm, treats his body right, hits for some power. Here's Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Well, we know what this particular Monday in NFL season means.
Yeah, people getting fired.
Yes, well, the Chargers have fired Anthony Lynn after 4 seasons as the team's head coach. The Chargers won 4 in a row to finish 2020,
They
but
did.
a 7-9 record was Lynn's second losing season in a row. He leaves the team with a 33-31 regular season record with only 1 playoff win in 2018.
He started, I was talking to a friend last night about this. He started losing the same way, which is always trouble because then you get a brand. So he would get leads. I know Anthony, good dude, alpha. They never took a playoff. That team played hard, so he'll get a second job. But Anthony got into this thing where they'd get leads, he'd get conservative, and they'd lose leads. And then in the last couple of weeks, he started listening to analytics more, and they didn't, and they won. But it was a little bit too little and late. And also, Justin Herbert was so darn good that you get to a point where you're like, okay, we may have like John Elway here. We got to get this thing right fast.
Had they had a season like this, perhaps with Tyrod Taylor,
he'd keep his job.
He'd probably have another year.
I think he would.
And we hadn't seen anything from Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert started the clock on a lot of people.
Like 5 minutes into the game.
He started the clock on Tua. He started the clock on Anthony Lynn.
Yep.
And, I guess it's fortunate for Justin. Well, we'll see who they hire, but it's fortunate for Chargers fans because now you have the quarterback of the future. He's a rookie, so you have several more years of not having to pay him a lot of money, and they already have a lot of talent on that team.
Oh, yeah.
So they're in a great situation moving forward. The only unfortunate thing for the Chargers is the division that they're in.
Right.
So you're kind of always fighting for a wild card spot in that situation, at least for the next 10 years with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But Justin Herbert had an incredible season. He set the rookie record for touchdown passes with 31.
I think you said it right. It's a great way to say it. He set the clock. He reset the clock on everybody. Like when Justin Herbert came in, you know what? We're a little less patient with Tua. I mean, that's the reality. I look at Tua and I'm like, okay, I saw Justin Herbert.
Joe Burrow, you should expect. He's the #1 overall pick. He was national champion and had one of the greatest seasons for a college football quarterback ever.
He better start looking like Justin Herbert. That's the reality of it. When Andrew Luck came in, all the young quarterbacks got judged like, well, if Andrew Luck can do it with the worst offensive line in football, why aren't you winning?
You're going to be judged by your peers, contemporaries, no matter what. But certainly you're going to be evaluated by your draft class on a higher level. Because you should be, in theory, not only at least on the same level as them, but better. You were drafted before him.
Yeah.
Now, one space before him, but still, he started the clock on a lot of people. So I don't know what direction the Chargers are going to go in, if they're going to go with a coordinator or a former head coach, but they're now in competition with several other teams as well because there are a lot of jobs available.
You better challenge Justin Herbert, 4-point college student. The knock on the Oregon staff was
they didn't push him.
And they couldn't keep up with him. Like, the offense wasn't sophisticated enough for him. Because we saw him go to the NFL. We're like, God, Oregon coaches.
You look like a different player.
Like, what are you doing? So you better find somebody that can keep wits with him. Because when you're a college athlete and you're over a 4-point student in biology, he's probably a pretty quick kid.
I'd like to see them bring in an offensive coach.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins were the odd team out in the AFC playoff picture after losing to the Bills.
Wow.
Tua struggled against Buffalo, threw 3 interceptions in the game. The usually strong Miami defense also had a tough time. They allowed a season-high 56 points. And Josh Allen put up big numbers, 224 yards and 3 touchdowns before being replaced by Matt Barkley in the second half. This was the worst case scenario for the Miami Dolphins.
And Tua.
Yeah. Yes. So, look, losing to the Bills is
okay.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's allowed. The Bills are a Super Bowl bound team. They're playing out of their minds, and Josh Allen is having an MVP season. That's acceptable. Now, the defense, I don't have an explanation for. 56 points is a disaster.
Maybe it's just Buffalo's. Maybe it's Josh Allen.
Buffalo is playing incredible, but look, you're not going to have a Super Bowl performance by your defense every single week either. Right. And when your offense is getting off the field within 3 minutes every single time, that doesn't help either.
Right.
Tua averaged 6.3 yards per attempt this season. He tied for 29th out of 35 qualified players. He's not pushing the ball down the field. It's very obvious. And dink and dunk is fine if you also have the capability of going over the top. I was thinking about it yesterday because, obviously Tom Brady, especially in his last few years, a lot of people are saying he's regressing. He doesn't have the arm strength or whatever. Like, Brady has been death by a million cuts for most of his career.
Right.
But he can also put it downfield like that with absolute accuracy. You can't disrespect him.
Right.
You have to have that in your bag. It's fine if you want to be precision and do short yard passes.
It's what's hurt Drew Brees in the last 3 years.
Yes.
They really dump off to Alvin Kamara a lot. And thank God Michael Thomas is virtually uncoverable. But no, there is something to say with Tua. I feel like he's playing safe.
Yes.
And if he doesn't punish you over the top, what's the point? Beat me there.
And in a game like this, when it's completely gotten away from you, why not? Why not make him push it down the field? Yeah. Like, he's already has 3 interceptions. Like, How much worse can it get? Let him air it out. It was the worst case scenario. Justin Herbert sets a new record for rookie touchdown passes. You've got Josh Allen, who's going to be in your division for a very long time, putting 56 up on you, and Tua looks like that, and you've got the Texans pick. It's a rough situation for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it is. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Just, it's really funny, and you go into the playoffs. Does hot matter? Like Baltimore and Green Bay are hot. Kansas City's really good, but not playing well. But it is amazing. I counted this morning 8 teams in the playoffs that have major issues. I mean, Tennessee's defense is bad. Seattle's offense is currently bad. Chicago's got a quarterback issue. So does Indianapolis. You don't have to be a perfect football team to make the playoffs. What you've got to be able to do is hide your flaws. Can Cleveland hide its back end of its defense? They can against Buffalo. Maybe they will against Pittsburgh. But there's only 4 teams in the NFL that I look at now and I think, yeah, I wouldn't want to play Baltimore, Buffalo, Tampa, Green Bay. Let's bring Greg Jennings on, decade